So, back for another VGC guide, and this time we're looking at Raichu, a Pokemon that has been very consistent across every single format that it's been in. It has won a World Championships as well. This is unashamedly the EV spread that won the World Championships back in 2016. With the Assault Vest as the recommended item for this set, I see no reason why this EV spread wouldn't work in this format, although I have changed 20 attack 20 special attack into just 4 attack and an extra 2 points into speeds. So it was originally 168, now it's 170, so that outspeeds a Garchomp. You are not able to attack Garchomp with this moveset, apart from the Fake Out, but you are able to Nuzzle the partner, / Volt Switch the partner, before the Garchomp would Earthquake you. So outspeeding Garchomp is still worthwhile, even if you can't hit it. The Assault Vest makes a lot of sense if you're going with all of these attacks. There is also Feint recommended as well, that's further on, and Thunderbolts, doesn't really matter. Thunderbolts or Volt Tackle for your offensive move, quote unquote, because you're not doing too much damage with the Assault Vest because you're investing so much in bulk. But Volt Tackle is strong enough base power wise that you're still going to do a chunk that is worthwhile. Thunderbolt slightly less, but if you get a Lightning Rod boost, Thunderbolt becomes better than Volt Tackle because then you'll be +1 and effectively have a 135 base power effectively as opposed to 120. So Thunderbolt or Volt Tackle, pick your favorite. Volt Switch is good when paired with Fake Outs because then you can just cycle your Raichu back in and out, so you can constantly go for the Fake Outs. If you have Volt Switch and Fake Out and then pair it with another Fake Out user, you can just cycle between those two. So we've seen that, obviously, with Parting Shot and Fake Out on a aforementioned Pokemon that will not be repeated because it's not in the format. So yeah, Nuzzle and Fake Outs to round it off with the Assault Vest. Both are attacking moves, but have great support. Nuzzle is much better than Thunder Wave because it is 100% accuracy, and it is an attack move, so it can't be taunted, and it does some damage as well. So Nuzzle is very, very good for Raichu. We've seen it very consistently use this attack across most of the generations because the paralysis chance and the speed control is going to be very, very nice indeed. Fake Out is one of the best moves in VGC. Just be aware that even though it is probably better than it was in Generation 8 because there is no Dynamax and everything can be faked out, Covert Cloak is now an item. So Covert Cloak can block the Fake Out, or at least block the flinch chance of the Fake Out, so just be a little bit more wary with going for Fake Out, but it is still a fantastic move, and I highly recommend it on pretty much every single Raichu, because there's not many Fake Out uses in the format. You should probably have it on Raichu if you are using Raichu. If you are going with the Terra type, doesn't really matter, just go Electric. If you want the damage output, the other recommendation would be Flying, because then you are immune to the ground types, and then you can Earthquake next to your own Raichu as well. It doesn't particularly matter for the Terra. I don't see myself terroring Raichu too much if I'm using it, but Electrical Flying, I don't think there's any reason to go anything else. Either get the damage output or the ground type immunity, so that seems pretty reasonable for the Raichu. If you're not going with the Assault Vest, then Focus Sash is the other item I'd recommend. I probably wouldn't go with any other items on the Raichu. I've seen some Sugar Berries, I've seen some Safety Goggles, I haven't seen too many others, but really the bulk is not there if you don't have an Assault Vest, so Focus Sash is probably recommended. So these are some moves that I would recommend on the Raichu. This moveset is fine. I would also say that you could probably drop one of these two. I would probably say you have space for one, maybe not both, unless you do go with this 4 and just sacrifice any chance of doing any damage outside of Nuzzle Chip. This would be fine, but just be wary that you're not going to do any damage. Thunderbolt and Volt Tackle, Thunderbolt or Volt Tackle might be necessary on the set, but Helping Hands and Encore are brilliant moves on Raichu. I would highly recommend at least one of them if you are not Assault Vest. So Helping Hands, helping out your partners. Fake Out and Helping Hand is a very, very good combination on any Pokemon that has access to both of them, because you are going to turn into brilliant support to be able to help your setup sweepers, because then you can Fake Out and set up, and then if your setup sweeper is not quite strong enough on that turn, but needed a second boost or whatever it was to get the knockout, you don't need it anymore. Now you Helping Hand and KO them. So highly recommend this combination. Also, Encore is brilliant on Raichu. Now that Dynamax is gone, you can Encore pretty much everything. It is fast enough to make use of Encore very well as well. Base 110 is one of the faster things you'll see in the format, so it can Encore most things, and Encore can be basically game-winning or hugely momentum swimming. Is that swimming? Momentum swimming is not a phrase. Momentum swinging is a phrase. But yeah, Helping Hands and Encore, probably one. If you have space for both, that is well done, but probably choose one if you haven't the Focus Sash. These are some other options for Raichu as well. If you don't want Volt Tackle, then you can go for Thunderbolt. The upside of Volt Tackle is it's stronger if you've got no Lightning Rod boost, and it's going to hit on the physical side slightly harder, and technically can be a good thing if you are down to your Focus Sash and want to KO yourself to give a paid switch in something in the back, then Volt Tackle can do that. Thunderbolt, on the plus side, does not give you recoil, which is mostly a good thing, but slightly weaker unless you get the Lightning Rod boost. But if you do get the Lightning Rod boost, Thunderbolt is better than Volt Tackle. So it's basically pick your favorite. I've already said about Fate with the Fake Out Feint combination previously on other videos. Fake Out and Feint is a very good combination. So if they are expecting to just double detect on the Fake Outs and you catch them with a Feint, that's brilliant. If you catch protect with Feints, that's really good. It can also lock down positions, as in guarantee this attack will hit this slot. And that can be quite nice, knowing that protects can't even save them. We've also seen back in Generation 8 this set pop up, so it was Fake Out, Electric Move, and then both Charm and Eerie Impulse. You probably should have both if you're going to run the sets. You can get away with just one, but this is brilliant damage control. -2 in attack, -2 in special attack. Both are very, very good forms of speed control. Raichu is fast enough to be able to make use of that so that it will be able to help out its partners very well. Raichu is a fantastic support Pokemon. It does get access to Nasty Plots, but I don't recommend going for a setup suite with Raichu. It's not strong enough to be able to do that. You should be using Raichu as support, whether that's going to spread paralysis, go for the Fake Outs, and all of this fancy stuff that it can do as well. So I see no reason why Raichu should be lower than an A. It's still going to be a brilliant support Pokemon going into this format. But while we're here, I might as well mention that Pikachu is also a Pokemon that is viable because it gets access to its signature item in the Light Ball. It can also have the Bolt Beam coverage now. It can turn into an Ice type. I think this may be one of the only Pokemon I will ever recommend turning into an Ice type. Like, maybe some of the Ice types themselves can tear it into Ice to give a boost to Ice. This might be one of the few Pokemon that is not originally an Ice type that I'm recommending you turn into Ice, because then you'll be able to Terra Blast and get Bolt Beam coverage. Volt Tackle and Ice type Terra Blast is perfect coverage. So, what more do you need? The Pikachu is supposed to hit hard and just KO things, because it's got no bulk whatsoever. It's sacrificing its HP for Volt Tackle, so doesn't matter about the bulk at all. You're basically supposed to pick up KOs with this Raichu. Volt Tackle and Terra Blast will allow you to do that because you will be able to get the perfect coverage. If you don't want to go with Volt Tackle instead, it is entirely viable to go with Thunderbolt instead. Your Terra Blast will turn into a special Ice move, basically slightly weaker than Ice Beam, but this would also be entirely viable as well. So there is a place for Pikachu. It's got slightly buffed in the fact that it can get an Ice type coverage move now. It would have to turn into an Ice type, but that doesn't matter. Like, the defensiveness of, or the lack of defensiveness of Ice type does not matter because you have no defenses anyway. So I think that Ice type is one of the better, or Pikachu is one of the better Ice Terra types that there can be outside of originally Ice Pokemon. Maybe even the best Ice Terra type outside of that. Pikachu probably is going to be low B. I reckon it's probably not quite a C because it hits so hard. Like, if you see some of the calcs that Pikachu can do, it can hit so hard. So I think it's quite low B, still usable. Probably should be Raichu most of the time, unless you are going with a very, very quick hit hard and fast kind of team. Pikachu might be able to fit on that slightly better than Raichu. It does have slightly lower speed, so base 90 is significant, like noticeably significantly slower than 110. There's going to be quite a few things that outspeed you. So it's going to slightly hurt Pikachu in that regard, but it hits really hard, and it is really usable. And now it gets ice coverage, technically. So it is still entirely viable. Probably would use Raichu most of the time, though.